Hey there, good people. It's your stocks, crypto, and investment news update with Josh. Our Verb play, it's been a huge success. A lot of you guys have cashed out with some pretty nice gains, but there's an opportunity for us to swing Verb again. It's been coming down to some of my entry prices that I've talked with you guys about. At the end of this video, I'm going to touch on it a bit more. I want to talk briefly about my Alibaba, my Baba play. I'm a little bit done with it right now. I've been kicked out a number of times. I am looking at this point, eyeing more of a $90 price range. There's a lot of volatility over the next couple of days. I want to see if it pulls back to that range where I will be taking another stab at investing in Alibaba. This week already we've seen Walmart's earnings negatively impact the market. They basically said they had too much inventory. They brought down Target, Kohl's, and other big retailers. But today, what I'm going to focus on is Alphabet, aka Google's stock earnings, and what possible impact on the markets these guys are going to have, both today and moving forward. Please take a minute, hit that like for me. Remember, my videos are for educational purposes. Watch out for the scammers in the comment section. These guys impersonate me using my name and my picture and ask you to reach out to them on WhatsApp, Instagram, and Telegram. My goal is to make this investing thing easier for all of you and to give you the information that you need to make faster moves in the market. If that's for you, then go ahead and hit that subscribe and the notification bell and join the family. All right, let's start off with a small clip from a gal named Victoria Fernandez. She's the Chief Market Strategist for Crossmark Global Investments. She's given us some interesting comments on Google's earnings.
How about Alphabet? Again, a miss there. Is that a better than feared scenario showing up in the results? Now, of course, we need to hear the call. But what are your first reactions here?
I think that's part of it, Scott. I also think, the stock has taken such a beating up until now that I think a lot of the negative news around the advertising and around cloud was already priced in. We're actually underweight this name versus our benchmark, so we don't have an extremely positive outlook. Obviously, over the longer term, you want some exposure to the name because it's such a heavyweight in the benchmark. But for us, we'd rather do Microsoft than we would Alphabet.
So basically, the takeaway for me was three things. These guys are underweight Google. Underweight simply means that they don't believe it's going to perform as well as other similar stocks in their sector. Largely means they're not actively buying more. However, number two takeaway, she says that you need to own Google for the long term, and she described it as a heavyweight in the stock. So, it was kind of funny to me. She both in one moment says it's underweight, another moment she says it's a heavyweight. I sometimes wonder if these analysts really think about what they're saying before they say it. The number three takeaway is that she believes that the realized loss of the advertised business, as well as the losses associated with building out their cloud services, has already been priced in. And that's why it's jumped after hours. Well, that's her opinion. And what I want to do with you guys today is take a deeper look into Alphabet, into the opportunity ahead of us. So Alphabet's earnings came out, and the earnings per share, as well as the revenue expectations, were both a miss. And yet the stock has jumped about 5% after hours, as well as giving us a bump today. They blamed their foreign currency movement, which basically relates to the strengthening dollar against other world currencies, as part of the headwinds that they faced. Let's take a step back and acknowledge for a moment that Google has averaged a 24.8% annual gain for its shareholders since its 2004 IPO. I want to explain to some who are new, IPO stands for Initial Public Offering, which simply means when they first started selling their stock to anyone who wanted to buy it. These guys have provided anyone who did choose to buy it an annual return of about 25%. That is an absolute amazing gain. The famous value investor Warren Buffett, he's averaged an annual return of around 20% ever since he's been investing. And as you may have heard, just owning the S&P 500 has returned an average of around 10%. So Google has been a great company to invest in. These guys have been returning 25% for as long as they've been around. In recent days, Google did a 20-for-1 stock split. They did it just this last month on July 15th. I would love to increase my Google holdings, but, and as Uncle Larry says on his show, there's always a big but in the room, I want to get a better price. If you trade with me, you've already learned that my strategy to making money is to get the most accurate buy price. So what is that price for Google? My buy price for Google is below $90. That would ultimately be a 40% down from its all-time highs, as well as being the biggest discount in the price of Google that they've seen in over a decade. Let's consider what a very rare opportunity may be developing in this stock to own such an incredible company, right? So what do you think? You think it could come down that much? So why do I think it could come down that much? If you look at the monthly candles on Google, you have the potential of a bearish gravestone candlestick developing on the monthly. I'm going to show you guys that in just a minute. And in addition, we've been still below the 5 EMA, which is confirming a bearish trend. The PE for Google is around 19.52, which currently anything under 20 in big tech would be considered a discount. But we want more. In July, Google dropped about $15 for a decline of 13%. If we came down another 15% approximately, which would be another $16 down, if we did that in the month of August, that would give us a beautiful test of the 50 SMA. SMA stands for Simple Moving Average. That is my ideal entry price. During the COVID pullback in March of 2020, Google came down and touched the 50 SMA and spent approximately the next 20 months going up to reach all-time highs. Looking at the earnings report, we see that Google is currently sitting on $125 billion worth of cash, and they have another $37 billion in their accounts receivables. These guys are cash rich, and they're very well positioned for the recession ahead. And who knows, maybe they could use some of that money to buy Snap on a fire sale. Either way, if we straighten this economy out in the coming months, these guys are positioned for another potential decade of outstanding growth. Warren Buffett, year over year, beating growth, especially in their growing cloud-based services, which have basically been doubling every 2 years. That, my friends, is what we call a juggernaut growth. One other takeaway from the earnings report was that they've increased their employees by approximately 30,000 people year over year during the same time frame, as well as increasing their stock buyback. These guys are investing in themselves because even they know that the Google stock is on sale. This is also another positive sign looking forward to their potential growth. As I always say, if you're looking for the truth, my friends, you know that price action is the truth. I'm going to look at the charts together with you, and we're going to trust our own eyes on what they're saying. All right, this is what's important for you guys to see in the charts. In the entire history that Alphabet Google has been about, the bulls have been in control of it. You can see that the entire pattern of trading has been above the 50% on the RSI, and only for the very first time did we slightly break beneath it. So that's a pretty important indicator. This is the candlestick that I'm looking at right here. This is the one that I am imagining may in the coming days turn into a gravestone doji. Gravestone dojis, they likely should turn red here, and the majority of the wick should be on the top with a base on the bottom. You can also see that back in 2020, at that time when the market came down due to the COVID crash, it came and touched the 50 SMA, and that is what we're looking for now. You can see that we are beneath the 5-day EMA. These are all bearish candlesticks, and I am hoping for another push down, another leg down that will ultimately touch on that 50 SMA again and give us another long-term trend to the upside. There you have it. I want you to tell me if you think Google's going to get to my buy price. Tell me in the comments section if you think I'm dreaming. If we do get there, I'm going to tell you right now that I will use the official loading up phrase with both stocks and option plays. I like to swing trade options, and I use my profits to build my long-term stock holdings. If you guys want my buy signals for Google moving forward, my entry price, and my take profit moving forward, you know what you have to do. You're only going to get it if you hit that subscribe and the notification bell. In conclusion, this was ultimately a sideways quarter for Google, and it will not, in my opinion, save these downward trending markets. This is one more brick on the scales for a recession. Will the GDP report give us a positive number Thursday? Will I be loading up? on the SQQ to short this market Thursday? Well, we're getting closer and closer to the GDP D-Day report. As I've said before, I don't care about the interest rate hike. To me, that's old news in my opinion. The market's well priced that in. They've already figured that component out. We need earnings, earnings, and earnings, and we need to know the GDP to know whether we should be buying or selling this market. But after a couple more quarters, as we emerge from this recession, there's going to be a glut of companies trying to regrow their business through Google's AdSense search business, as well as YouTube, and they're going to be looking to use their cloud service business. I believe they're going to emerge with big profits, which have not yet been currently priced into the stock. We will return to a forward PE above $25 on Google in the course of time. The consensus analyst price prediction for Google currently is $150, and they say that that's achievable in 1 year. And my 2 to 4 year price prediction for Google is $210 per share. Can you imagine getting that at 90? This would work out to 150% return. This could possibly be moving us back to that 25% year-over-year average growth that Google has been giving to its shareholders. Okay, let's briefly talk about Verb. We had support at 64 cents, and then beneath that, we have support between 55 cents and 50 cents. I want everyone to remember how we started off this challenge. We didn't just wait till it hit one price and then drop all of our money in. We broke up our purchases into 4, and we bought a range, a decreasing range. So that's exactly what we're going to do the second time around. I took a position at 64 cents. I had sold mine higher up, and I took a position at 64 cents. That's my first buy, and I'm going to wait until it pulls back so I can add to my position. If we begin to hold that line and move up, I'm willing to buy even if it goes up. But right now, I'm waiting to see where it will pull back to. A lot of you told me that you struggled with the trailing stop or the market if touched, that your orders did not go through as you expected. I'm going to work on that, on providing you guys an extremely detailed explanation of those 2 order types, because I think they're super important for you guys to understand moving forward. You know what you can do. You can follow my trades as well as join my small account challenge. I'm going to leave a link in the top pinned comment for moomoo, where I'm swing trading stock. They have the max extended trading hours as well as the conditional order types that I believe that we need to get these orders right. They offer a chance at a bunch of free stock. You have to put in at least $100 to get the 6 free stock. If you're new to my page, you know my goal is to help you swing trade stock with the goal of doubling your investment while learning how to be a more disciplined investor and taking profits, having realistic goals. If you don't want to miss out on my next crypto or stock pick, then hit that subscribe and the notification bell. And I look forward to seeing all of you guys in the next video. Have a great day.